Well, I know if you've been following me for a while now, you guys understand how concerned I am of the provincial educational system here in Ontario, as well as across Canada and, well, across the West, really. I am a former employee of the Niagara Region Catholic District School Board, as well as a former employee of the District School Board of Niagara. So I can tell you that I do have quite an extensive knowledge of what's going on exactly inside a lot of these schools, and I still communicate with many staff who sit very high up within the education system. I believe right now more than ever, we really need to come together as a community and really call out the things that we don't like to see going on within our school systems. On that note, I would like to show parents who may have students going to school at Craig Kilburn Secondary School in Milton, Ontario. This is a teacher by the name of Frank Dominic, and this is what he's doing inside of his classrooms.
Flying behind me seems to really trigger a lot of snowflakes. And yes, I am your worst nightmare.
That's really comforting for parents to hear.
So let's get one thing clear. If you have a problem that I have this flag in my classroom, stop following me right now. Just block me. Or better yet, leave a comment so I know who I can block. Because I will never stop supporting the rights of all individuals to be loved for who they are.
Okay, no one takes an issue with that.
And yes, I do teach about stuff like this in my classroom. Thank you for asking. I teach about Marxism. I teach about socialism.
See, this is where you're starting to go off course, and you're going outside of the school curriculum to instill your personal, self-serving beliefs into children's heads.
I teach about trans rights. I teach about LGBTQ history. I teach about Black history. I teach about the racial history of our country and the genocide that we have inflicted upon Indigenous people. I teach about redlining and Africville and the Starlight Tours. I teach about the history of Sir John A. Macdonald. I teach about wealth inequality in Canada and the concentration of wealth in the 1%. I talk about the prevalence of LGBTQ and trans people in millennial and Gen Z generations and compare it to left-handedness. I teach about intersectionality. I teach about the Polytechnic Massacre. I teach about the 60s scoop. And do you want to know why I teach about these things? Because they are important and because they are related to the curriculum. I do not push anything on my students.
You do not push anything on your students. Okay, let's back up for a second here.
I teach about Marxism. I teach about socialism. I teach about trans rights. I teach about LGBTQ history.
You can't fool us preaching your self-serving agenda.
Beyond that, in Ontario, under the Education Act, teachers essentially have the right to teach whatever they think is beneficial to their students.
Thank you for confirming what I've been trying to tell parents for so long now.
There is obviously a boundary to that, but what I talk about in my classroom, what I do in my classroom, will not break any of the rules. Just because you're a triggered snowflake who can't handle gay people existing does not mean that what I am doing is by any means wrong. It just means that you're an antiquated dinosaur, and sooner or later your children will think to themselves, why does my parent think that way? Why does my parent act that way?
The way this teacher talks is as if the parents are always wrong. Do you see the play here? Do you see how they make children feel this way?